Diddy made a lot of people mad and upset. He may be losing some of his power.
Diddy made many individuals frantic and upset he might be losing a portion of his influence. Do you feel like Puffy? Oh, you definitely he would. It'd be advisable for me. I figure he ought to glance out. It seems like Diddy winds up in a fairly unsafe position these days since there's been discussion in the roads that an entire bundle of his ex-specialists is combining efforts to take his down and send him to prison for coordinating the shooting of rap legend Tupac Shakur. Well, the case has been moving since this July. Thus far, only one individual, Dwayne Davis, otherwise called PPD, has been captured anyway. It appears as though the examination is no place to be finished. And with Davis' new worry, the case has developed progressively unpredictable, leaving both general society and the police confounded. Now murmurs are orbiting that few craftsmen related with the awful Kid Mark might step forward to reveal insight into Diddy's supposed association with this high-profile case. These individuals are working in the background. The intentions behind this already concealed unanimity pass on many inquiries, and this readiness to possibly hurt the music versatile make many individuals wonder, is there truly the finish of Diddy's reign in hip jump local area? Some propose the craving to a form could be associated with the revealed insight about Suge Knight's refusal to be a piece of this case. Evidently, Suge, the last residing observer of the deadly shooting, realizes more than he needs to share, and his quietness purportedly made different rappers' approach to stop Diddy's frightful wrongdoings, and whatever the conditions, assuming he had a contribution with anything in the event that he had no association and anything who need to see. I wouldn't wish someone go to jail on my most awful foe. This was a new call from Suge jail cell in which the previous president of Death Row Records, who is presently imprisoned, transparently talked about his viewpoints on Key's capture and his possible job in the forthcoming preliminary. He underlined that there were just two individuals in the vehicle during the shooting, and since one of them is hushed perpetually, he won't be the individual who rodents the essential suspect out, as he remarked on his choice to keep his lips firmly fixed. Pass won't recount the story. I won't recount the story yet. I can let you know this. I never had nothing terrible to say regarding Orlando since he wasn't the shooter. It wasn't Anderson, so that is all I got to say regarding that part. Now it focuses on many individuals that this case is going no place. Thinking about that, the vitally residing observer won't name the offender behind this revolting shooting that ended the existence of a rap legend anyway. As it's been currently guessed, there are numerous others who offered their support of the specialist, cause you see what he attempted to do, however you see what Diddy's been attempting to do, however he's been giving individuals their back, he's been doing all sort of cordial, cause he don't believe they should go affirm against. Now Diddy has been named as the conspicuous suspect starting from the beginning of this examination. And here's where it gets super hot. Even the now demised rapper himself had recently alluded to Diddy's inclusion in another shooting, which happened 2 years preceding his end and furthermore planned to hurt Tupac. And presently it appears Diddy ran into his ways with more than one individual from quite a while ago, and he has a broad rundown of foes who are prepared to spill the tea on him. The principal individual purportedly able to affirm is Whack 100, a hip bounce chief who's been straightforwardly guaranteeing that the FBI will before long corner Diddy. He's been blending the pot for certain striking words, and it appears as though he started the whole mission against the music big shot. You all recollect that I let you know this Puff Daddy someplace realized himself right now. It looks like Whack 100 believes more craftsmen should approach, and it's been conjectured that he's subtly working with the police and the FBI and coming to every one of Diddy's rappers and ex-specialists in desire to find out where their loyalties lies. It seems to be without precedent for 27 years. We will see the reason to have some hope. And in spite of the fact that it's still distant from the finish of the story, fans are communicating their bliss all over virtual entertainment about karma at last coming to get Diddy. As one individual remarked, they out to all shout out they own the world reality. And one more client added, I genuinely want to believe that they bring Diddy down. You realize he's behind it. Yet he has cash. He crawled right out of it this long. Yet, since the main residing onlooker won't talk, it seems to be the hip jump local area is taking matters in its grasp, and Whack 100 is among the initial ones to prod Diddy with his forthcoming declaration. All the is getting down on this is cool. I'm letting you know that Puff shake like where K. No, now Wax shares the assessment that Suge Knight communicated during his prison call, and he likewise accepts that the police has the guiltless man anyway, subsequent to hearing Suge proclamations about Key D's blamelessness, and he said, I won't get on the stand and affirm on someone for what I wouldn't go? I wouldn't go. I wouldn't affirm no part of that stuff. It seems as though this admission turned into a genuine stunner for some craftsmen, and they are coming to bring Diddy down rather than Suge. And keeping in mind that you might feel that Keefe D will use the remainder of his life behind the bars, the roads are preparing for the last of equity as nobody believes that the honest man should spoil in prison for the violations that Diddy possessed perpetrated, so it's energy for the music tycoon to pay for his activities thought emerging about Diddy, this multitude of individuals playing with him. And folks, it seems as though it's whack 100 as well as the entire horde of individuals able to assist the police with outlining Diddy for this deadly shooting. Obviously, the music maker has been crossing the way with many individuals, and they have a comment against their ex-chief and his obscure past. We should discuss some well-established fee among Diddy and his specialists, and you'll see the reason why they all realize about the music tycoon's association for this situation. Everything begins with Diddy's new liberality when he unexpectedly chose to give every one of his craftsmen their district. Butting right back, the timing was simply amazing as the examination of Tupac's shooting arrived at its pinnacle half a month after Diddy's surprising, thoughtful gesture. As the terrible kid had made sense of he and his lawful group was setting up this move for over 2 years, I must be capable and responsible for that for me, thus, that was completed a long time back, so dislike clearly. It didn't trick anybody, and surprisingly, however, a portion of Diddy's craftsmen like Mase were requesting their district viewing privileges for a long time. This act could not hope to compare that they can now straightforwardly discuss their involvement in Diddy recall when Mase transparently blamed his ex-manager for taking advantage of and hushing his specialist with his complicated agreement. He said, and every other person you made sign administrative work, so they can't discuss what I'm referring to. I'm the only one with the guts. I'm not marking cuz I needn't bother with the cash. All cash ain't great cash. All cash ain't great cash. Recall that now Mase has a ton to say regarding Diddy, and there's a high opportunity that he'll join that mission to bring his previous supervisor down. Some say uncalled for treatment makes this multitude of rappers to mob against the awful kid proprietor, as he's not the most pleasant manager on the planet. Need to business will be business. You don't need to change the agreement. You don't need to make changes on the planet yet, regardless of whether mama doesn't know anything about out the shooting in Vegas. He certainly has an adequate number of soil on his ex-manager already. He had griped about how Diddy he treated his craftsmen, seared them, and was plain unreasonable. He even went that far that he freely tended to the music magnate on his Instagram, saying that every one of the specialists are finished with his obscure games, even dropped some jaw-droppers by recommending Diddy may be behind some obscure stuff like Kim Watchman and tax dying. Clearly, there's a lot of harm done. Fear that Diddy had caused, and the roads are calling for equity. Mase isn't finished there. He's pointing fingers at Diddy for a wide range of things and effectively requesting that different rappers out a finish to these monstrosities by affirming against him, as he said, when I see the hurt and the agonies of others on awful kid that persuades me to say something so I don't a made to be considered as an individual pack of cash and deliberately ignored, and May isn't the only one in his battle won. More unmistakable rapper Eminem on the activity too. He even dropped a diss track getting down on Diddy's supposed association for Tupac's situation. It created an incredible commotion in the hip jump local area. Individuals began accepting that Diddy's person hands filthy. Some even think Diddy need to confront an examination and be dealt with, and ideally with the assistance of his previous specialists. All reality will be uncovered, and the couleur behind that ugly shooting in Vegas will be rebuffed. As life goes on, you get hit with such countless things. You realize being truly harmed and done for and being lost evidently. There's an entire group trusting that Diddy will be imprisoned and their time for genuine activities has come. So while the preliminary for Tupac's situation has been postponed, fans can hardly hold on to see what it will bring and who will show up on the stand to affirm against Diddy. As one individual remarked, all specialists ought to affirm. I'd have frantic regard for them. Assuming they all did, and one more client added, toss Diddy behind bars. and make out a model for individuals like Jay-Z. He's likewise obscure very much. How about we hang tight so that the day of the preliminary could hear the primary observers, and I swear it will be a fascinating scene for all of us. And presently, I need to ask your perspective on this, folks.